Greetings, Otaku Faithful. Thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, it's Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, and I'm here to bring you yet again another movie review segment right here on Otaku Assemble! Weekly. As always, here to bring you the latest reviews in this week's movies. Now, I know you guys are wondering, Larry, what the hell? I thought you weren't going to be able to put out the vids this week. Well, like I said in my music review, I didn't think I would be able to either. There's been a lot of confusion on my side of things this past week, and surprisingly, I was able to get away for an hour or two and crank out these vids. So here you go. Now, granted, next week there's going to be a lot of moving and going around, you know, a lot of coming and going taking place, and I don't know if I'll be able to crank out the vids for next week. I'll keep you all informed on that as that gets going. But pretty much I am here this week, and I am here to knock out another movie review. And this week I decided to take a look at the newly released Blu-ray and DVD film, The Adjustment Bureau. Now, this review I have to do in two parts. I have to do my spoiler-free and I have to do my spoiler-filled parts in this review. I have to, because there were things that happened in this film that I just gotta talk about in this review. So, like I said, first half, spoiler-free for all of you who haven't checked out the film yet, who want to go and check it out. That the first half will be for that, and then the second half will be spoiler territory, in which case I will let you guys know when I get to that point in my review. Throw up the disclaimer letting you all know now's the time to hop off if you want spoiler-free review. So, with that said, I will also be referencing the official Wikipedia page for this film. And with that said, let's get on with the review. Alrighty now. The Adjustment Bureau is a 2011 American film loosely based on the Philip K. Dick short story Adjustment Team. Now, this film genre is one thing that I need to talk about, because I don't know about you all, but when I saw the commercials, I thought this was going to be some type of political action thriller / conspiracy theory type movie. You know, something like The Bourne Identity meets Vantage Point. Something like that. Apparently I was wrong. It's a romantic thriller. A romantic thriller. Now, don't let that turn you off of the film, because it is a nice reprieve from some of the shit that I get stuck watching a lot of times. But it's a romantic thriller. Okay, anyway, this film was written and directed by George Nolfi and stars Matt Damon and Emily Blunt. Once again, great fucking performances by both the actor and the actress. Matt Damon, great. Emily Blunt, great. And I will get into that further on once I get into the acting part. The film also stars Anthony Mackie, John Slattery, John Stewart, Michael Kelly, and Terrance Stamp. Yes, Zod is in this film. Alright, and it also contains a score by Thomas Newman. Great score, by the way. So let's get on with to the synopsis of the film. Now, the Adjustment Bureau pretty much follows the story of Congressman David Norris. David Norris is one of the youngest congressmen in history, and he's running for Senate. Pretty much what happens is the night he's supposed to give his speech for the Senate race, in which he loses. You know, he's in the restroom, he's preparing, you know, his losing speech pretty much, and he runs into Emily Blunt's character, Elise. Now, what transpires between those two is a fair meeting, which turns into a longing for something more, which turns into a pursuit for a relationship between these two characters, which gets in the way of the Adjustment Bureau. Now, the Adjustment Bureau is pretty much this collection of individuals who shape the events of the world and the actions of people to their just ends. They think something should go a certain way, they change it the way they think it should go. And they have means of doing this. Technology, so on and so forth. Now, I'm trying not to give too much away by that synopsis, but that's pretty much what they do. They think shit should get done a certain way, and when it doesn't go according to plan, they put shit back on track. That's what the Adjustment Bureau does. And they get in the way of this growing relationship between David and Elise, and thus is the conflict of the film people. So, acting. Let's get on to the acting. Like I said, Matt Damon, David Norris plays a great fucking role. I couldn't help but see Will Hunting coming out, beneath the character of David Norris. When I'm looking at Matt Damon, this character kept ringing Will Hunting to me, except, he's not from Boston, he's from Brooklyn. But I kept thinking, it's like, oh God, this is Will Hunting if he decided to run for politics. But because he has that charm, that bravado about himself that, his role in Good Will Hunting had also. But yes, Matt Damon did a great job, really great job as always. Matt Damon's one of the best fucking actors in Hollywood, and I don't think that's really up for debate. Most people would agree with me with that. Even if you don't like Matt Damon personally, you can't lie. He does really good roles. His acting is really good. Emily Blunt, gorgeous actress, beautiful actress, phenomenal performer. Emily Blunt, once again, another film where she just stole the show, in my opinion. In my opinion, she did. I said the same thing about I will get around to eventually. I'm going to review The Wolfman, which is going to be a fun review, despite the fact that many people bashed that film. I personally liked it, but I said the same thing in that film. You had Benicio del Toro and you had Anthony Hopkins, but to me, Emily Blunt was one of the standouts in that film. Now, granted, I liked her performance in this one a hell of a lot better because she had a much more central role. But still, she seems to steal the moment whenever she's on camera. That's just my personal opinion. Other than that, Terrance Stamp, really good job. Zod is in this film. Terrance Stamp just has that thing about him where he's intimidating. And for the role that he plays in this film, as Thompson, he's a very intimidating character. Thompson's the big dog of the bureau. When they need shit to get done, when they need this sucker to get knocked out, in 36 hours or less, Thompson is the dude to call because he takes care of business. And Terrance Stamp, they couldn't have picked a better actor. I really don't think they could have picked a better actor, for that. Oh, the only other character I think they could have picked for that, just because I got this film is fresh on the brain right now, The Departed. Jack Nicholson maybe. Jack Nicholson maybe could have pulled off Thompson. But Terrance Stamp did a great fucking job, man. He's just so fucking eerie. Oh God, in the scene. This isn't too much spoiler because it's in the commercial. The scene where he's standing over, when Matt Damon and Emily Blunt are in bed and he's standing over them. That is just such a creepy fucking scene. Like that shit would wake you out of a dead sleep. So yeah, Terrance Stamp did a really good fucking job. Let's see. John Slattery did a good job, for what it was. Michael Kelly did a fairly good job, Anthony Mackie. Anthony Mackie is an actor who surprises me time and time again. I always wind up running into this character in films where I don't expect to see him, I'm trying to remember what was my earliest film I remember seeing him in. But like 2 films, for an example, Notorious and We Are Marshall. 2 films I did not expect to see him in. But every time I see him, he is always a welcomed addition because I'll go ahead and I'll make this statement. I think Anthony Mackie is one of the most underrated actors in Hollywood. He is a damn good actor. And I don't think he gets enough, I really don't think he gets enough attention, I mean, he does a lot of supporting roles. But he is still a really good actor. He really is. Like, his performance in We Are Marshall brought me to tears. I was like, whoa. He is a really good actor. And I really did like his performance. Now, granted, his performance, I will say, at times it was a bit forced. it did seem like his lines were a tad bit stale every now and then, but that's because of the type of character he was playing. His character's role was supposed to be like that. All of the characters in the Adjustment Bureau are very one-dimensional. And he is the one who's supposed to show levels, of 2 and 3 dimensionality, because he's supposed to be the one member of the Bureau that we're supposed to sympathize with. So I don't blame his acting for that. I blame the character, because that's the way the character is supposed to be portrayed in the beginning. And then towards the end, that's when the character starts to flush out a little bit. And flesh out a little bit, and we start to emphasize with that character. But that was the acting. The cinematography is well done, especially at the beginning, how they make New York this slate type of color where everything is mundane, everything is like I said, by the plan. It all goes according to plan. It all goes according to plan. And then the second that Matt Damon's character starts to fuck up the plan, then everyone loses their minds. And that's when the cinematography starts taking these artistic leaps, because we start seeing these different colors and whatnot in the scenery, which I really do enjoy. Now it's not anything lavish, it's not anything flamboyant, but I mean, just like these different captures of the exterior during certain moments of the day were really good, And then when shit goes sour, that's when we start seeing the rain fall and start seeing the slate coverage of things once again. The cinematography worked well within the themes of the film, and I really did enjoy it. Really good job. Like I said, the writing was good. The dialogue, for the most part, was very much enjoyable. The pacing was really nice. There never seemed to be moments where it slowed down. And one thing I do want to emphasize about this, like I say, it really is a romance film. It's a romantic thriller with some sci-fi elements, but it is a romance film. And this is what I've been talking about, people, when I've said that 2 hours not a relationship make. I've said that multiple times. However, romantic films are the exception. Why? Because that's the main focus of their film, is to build the romantic relationship. That's the main focus. This movie does that really fucking well. I'm sorry, I just really have to say that. This is what I've been talking about. Why? Because what seems like just a bunch of circumstances by chance turn into, you can see the relationship between these characters start to slow, like it starts off slow, really slow, right? And then it starts to pick up speed, and it makes sense. And then another thing that happens is it takes its breaks. Like we experience time skips in this film where their relationship takes breaks. But it seems this is very unrealistic that when they meet back up after these time skips, they just pick up at the same pace where they left off. That is a little bit unrealistic, but for the story at hand and for the situation, for what's going on, for the plot, it works. Okay, so like I said, dialogue was good, the writing was good, the pacing I enjoyed the pacing. The romantic relationship I did enjoy in this film. I can't stress that enough. And like I said, it never gets slow. A clear-cut example of what I mean, just to give you guys an example of what I mean when I say a film slows down so it can establish the romantic relationship. The Town. One of my favorite films of last year. Love The fucking Town, okay? Great film. However, there is a point in The Town where the story slows down so that it can focus on the romantic relationship between Ben Affleck's character and I forgot the actress in The Town, but the actor and actress, their characters, it slows down to build their relationship. Why? Because later on in the film, you're going to see the conflict between those two. And you're going to see Ben Affleck's character get torn between the life he lives and the life that he wants. Now, like I said, it's good that they took the time to to build that relationship. Yes, because we needed to understand the ins and outs of that relationship. But I did not personally enjoy the way that the pacing of the film slowed down to establish it. You see what I'm saying? I thought there were better ways of establishing it while keeping the pace steady. The Adjustment Bureau gets that, and it does that very well. Correction, it does it very well, but like I said, it doesn't keep it steady. It's always progressing. It's everly progressing. Even when they take breaks, it picks right back up where they left off, and it just keeps going. And I really did enjoy that about the film. So with that said, that's going to go ahead. Just to give my rating right quick of it. Out of 5 stars, I give it 4.5. I'll even go ahead and say 4.75 because it's not a perfect 5. I can't give it a perfect 5, But I did enjoy. It was a really enjoyable watch. You know what? I'll go ahead and I'll put this. Let me put it to you like this. A 7. I'll put a 4.75 stars. 4 and 3/4 stars. And the only reason why I won't give it that last quarter star is because me personally, I don't see me revisiting this film a lot. Like should this film make its way to like HBO or something? Yes, I will watch it whenever it comes on. But I'm talking about, as far as me owning it, going back and rewatching it a lot. I don't see the film having that much rewatchability, not to the extent as say like The Fighter or True Grit, which are 2 films that I've watched a dozen times over now because they have a lot of rewatchability. This film, while it is rewatchable, I don't see myself rewatching it a lot. That's the only reason why I won't give it that extra quarter of a star. If it wasn't for that fact, it would get 5 stars in my book. So I highly recommend it. Like I said, it's on Blu-ray. It was just released on Blu-ray and DVD this past Tuesday. Guys, I don't know if it's on Netflix yet. Netflix it. And if you can't Netflix it, Redbox it. $1 for one night. One watch. One viewing of this film, and you will want to pick it up on DVD. I'm telling you, it's that enjoyable. But yeah, so wow, this review is really fucking long, apparently. 17 minutes, and I haven't even gotten into the spoiler part. So the spoiler part will probably be short then. So let me go ahead. I'm going to end the non-spoiler segment of this review. The non-spoiler part of this review is ending right now. If you don't want to be spoiled to the rest of the film, I highly recommend that you tear off right now. In which case, thanks for joining me. Stay tuned for the rant segment. And I'll be back with another movie review, hopefully next week, but not likely. Anyway, now let's get into the spoiler part of this review, okay? Certain things I want to address with this film. Okay, now the big mind blown of this film for me was the fact that what I thought the Adjustment Bureau would be like this government run, operation. It wasn't that at all. This film does have sci-fi elements to it, but I would go ahead and say fantasy elements. Why? Because we find out that the Adjustment Bureau are angels. And that they work for the chairman, a.k.a. The big man upstairs. Or the top lady, as we found out towards the end of the film. But yeah, the Adjustment Bureau aren't a government-run operation. And they aren't even like a secret society type deal. They're fucking angels. They're a divine bureau that sent my ass through a fucking loop. Because I was like, wait, what? Are you serious? Wow. Like, yeah, that just happened. And so, and this is what I've been talking about when I've been talking about how there seems to be no more originality in Hollywood. However, that doesn't mean that you can't be creative, which I want to clear up because a lot of people seem to have gotten the misconception of that in my Hollywood rant. When I'm talking about originality, let's face it, nothing is ever really 100% original anymore. However, that does not stop you from being creative. Like I said, like I use Star Wars as an example, where Star Wars was based off of all this other previous, knowledge, all this other, all these other previously conceived notions. However, it took all of those and the way that it blended it, the new thing that it made from it is creative and original. The Adjustment Bureau did the same thing because we've had multiple stories before in the past about this type of thing where it's like preordained destiny, where a plan is set and is laid out, and us as human beings, the notion that there is no such thing as free will, like even our free will is subject to the plan, to the greater plan at hand. There have been multiple stories based around that idea, but I've never seen it done like this. Never like this in this the Adjustment Bureau. Just the idea that angels have a bureaucracy amongst them, where they're all wearing these nice suits and these hats. And I'm sorry, Terrance Stamp fucking suit with the hat and the scarf was beast. With the Windsor knot tie, I was in the 3-piece. He had a vest under that shit, 3-piece. I was like, man, hey, if I could go into work like that every fucking day, that's a job I would really want to look into. Okay, 3-piece suit with the scarf and the hat, the fedora, really nice, really nice. It was a fedora, wasn't it? I think it was a fedora. So, yeah, I really did like that. It was a nice twist that it honestly threw me through a loop because I didn't see it coming. I would have never expected that the Adjustment Bureau was something divine. Never. And I want to go ahead and I want to read a comment, a few critiques of this film, a few comments made about this film that I actually kind of do agree with. And that is, first off, coming from Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times. He says that he gave the film 3 out of a total of 4 stars, describing the film as a smart and good movie that could have been a great one if it had been a little more daring. I suspect the filmmakers were reluctant to follow its implications too far. Now that I will agree with, because like I said, when I found out that the Adjustment Bureau was, angels and that they were working for God, and the whole conflict of the film was because David's free will was conflicting with their plan. And then you find out that, him and Elise were supposed to be together in the original plan. That's why they keep finding each other. Apparently the plan had several drafts before it where they were together, but, certain things happen where they break them apart. And then when the new draft of the plan comes back around, they're supposed to be together again. So on and so forth. I felt like they really could have done more with that. They really could have done more with that. The thing like Harry and his relationship with David, because Harry was the one who was following Harry was the one in charge of his parents' plan, his whole family's plan. David lost his brother and his mother when he was 10 years old, like a month within each other. And then, his dad not too long after. And, Harry was the one who was in charge of all that. And we find out later on in the film, he says he felt sorry about it and whatnot. That could have been explored a little bit more. I would like to have known what the original plan was. The thing about these plans where we never really did get to what the end game was. And we hear whispers of it. Like when Terrance Stamp tells, when Thompson tells David that, the tragedies that befell you as a child are what propelled you to the position that you are now, and they are what's going to propel you later on into the future. You're not just supposed to be senator. you're going to be president one day, which was that was a tad bit cliche. I did see that coming. You know, that the whole idea of a politician with with a greater destiny. You know, that whole thing of being president was kind of obvious. And yeah, the thing with Elise becoming one of the greatest dancers and choreographers in the world, that I didn't expect. But what I expected to happen was something like, oh, if he was with Elise, he would never become president, and we need him to become president because he's going to spark off like World War III in his presidency or some shit like that, which is going to bring about Armageddon. Now, yes, Larry, why would you jump to the conclusion that angels want to destroy the world? I'm sorry. Supernatural has tainted my image of angels, okay? I can't help but when I close my eyes and I see angels, I don't see these beautiful, elegant protectors of man. I see fucking Michael in his battle armor, okay, dishing out sentences, kicking ass and taking names. That's what I see when I see angels, okay? I even did a fucking painting on it. Actually, I have a series of paintings of angels, which will probably actually conclude in the fall. But that's neither here or there. That's a shameful plug. Shame on you, Mr. Williams. Shameful plug. If anyone is interested, though, feel free to PM me. Let's talk some numbers. One of a kind artworks going on here. But with that said, back to the review. So yeah, I think if they would have pushed those ideas a little bit more, it would have made for a stronger film, especially towards the end of the film when David is in the Adjustment Bureau and he's saying, we're going to go find out the chairman, and I want to hear from the chairman himself why we can't be together. I was like, oh shit, he's going to have a conversation with God? I'm sorry, but I was really looking forward to that scene because I thought that was going to be like the best scene in the film. I thought that was going to be like the climax at its peak, at its fullest. The climax and resolution all in one scene. Boom. A conversation with God. I was really looking forward to that, but it didn't happen in this film. I was a little disappointed, but it's also very realistic because I don't know. And the everyman having a conversation with God, it is a tad bit cliche, and it's not realistic. I would like to think that even though this film is fiction and it's within the realm of fantasy, there is still a realm of reason. You see what I'm saying? There is still a realm of reality whose laws need to, be enforced. Even with angels, even with heaven, even they have, there is still a realm of rationality. So just because it's fiction don't mean you can do whatever the fuck you want, which I think is a concept that a lot of people miss that concept. Okay, most writers get it. Most writers get that concept. Well, even though you do create a fictional world, you also create the rules within that world. And you are supposed to be held to that standard of the rules that you previously set. You can't just go breaking the rules of the fictional world that you create just because it's yours. I mean, yeah, you could, but you could. Keep in mind, you could. But I don't think I think that's kind of distasteful. And it creates for too much retcon. It's kind of like you're retconning it because you set this rule, and for a certain amount of time you follow the rule, but then you go ahead and break it on later down the line. It's retconning, and I really don't care for that. I think that's distasteful writing, me personally. And I'm not going to say any names. Naruto. I'm not going to say any names at all. I'm not going to say no names of what stories I'm talking about. Okay. Naruto. Ooh, fuck. I think I'm coming down with something. A classic case of BS. Yeah, I'm allergic to BS, people. Oh, man. Shitty writing, man. I come down with it. It affects me. Just Naruto. Oh, God. I need a sip. But, But yeah, I think had they been a little bit more ambitious with those, with that whole thing, it could have made for a stronger film. But I understand their reasons not to. I understand and respect their reasons not to. I see why they did it. But one other critique that I want to mention right quick. I know this vid is long. Bear with me, guys. One other critique that I want to mention right quick. The film was criticized by feminists for sustaining sexist stereotypes, in that the men had all the power and the only woman was a sex object. I do agree with that. Now, we did find out towards the end of the film when Harry referred to the chairman as a her, and he told David that you've met her before. She appears to everyone in different forms. Now, the second he said her and he said you've met her before, first thing I thought was the bartender, the lady in the bar, who appears I think in like 2 or 3 scenes in this film, and she gives him. It's the bar where Harry first meets up with David to discuss, what's been going on. And it's also, she was the one who gave him the message that Harry wanted to meet with him. That's why I immediately thought, oh shit, that's the chairman. And you know what? I could see them doing something like that in a deleted scene, because it would make the most sense. Why? Because it's foreshadowed. And if you think about it, it makes a lot of fucking sense. Why is it that would be the bar in which Harry would go talk to David about it unless he had some type of security from the Bureau to do so? Why is it that that's the woman he entrusted to leave such a message with to give to David? Because it's the fucking chairman. But yeah, they didn't address that in the film. That's left up to the viewer speculation. That's my speculation of it. I really would have wished they would have done, like I said, I wanted to see the chairman in this film. I really did. And I think it would have made for a much better film. Had the dialogue been on point, you could have had a really strong scene there, but we didn't get that. A missed opportunity, I think. But yes, the idea that the Bureau is full of dudes. The only women you see in the Bureau are secretaries, behind desk and phone. And the only real actress in the film, she's a dancer. Now, she's not a stripper, but she's still a dancer. And she is still in the position of the gays. Now, I don't think my professor will ever see this vid, but I should get extra points for making a reference to the gays. Yes, she is the subject of the gays, from what is supposed to be and what is understood as a male and masculine viewer. My throat is dry, people. I didn't expect this review to be that long, but there was so much shit I could talk about this film. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave this video off. Thanks for joining me again this week. Guys, like I said, out of 5 stars, 4.75 stars. 4.7 out of 5. 4.75 out of 5 stars. Great film. I highly recommend you guys pick it up. If nothing else, Netflix it or Redbox it. Even if you don't want to buy it, because I understand it's not in theaters anymore. So yeah, Netflix it or Redbox it. I strongly recommend. You guys got to check this shit out. Or there are multiple sites online where you could stream it. But please, buy the stream, pay for it. Don't illegally download. Don't illegally stream, okay? So with that, this is one film that I actually support that Hollywood made. So let's support it. But with that said, thank you for joining me again this week. Once again, comment, rate, subscribe. Stay tuned for my rant. This week's rant. Stay tuned for it. Because it was unexpected, but I got to do it. Why? Because it was on a topic that I couldn't help but I have to talk about. Well, Larry, what is it? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. So, with that said, this is Larry Williams, the OAW Commander-in-Chief. I'm signing off, and I'll catch you cats on the flip side. Peace.